Hey, Pete, I thought a lot of the night you did a decent job of McDavid. Like, I remember Miro stepping up on him, Marchment back pressure to break up a play. But he gets free at the end of the first overtime for that chance, and he gets free, especially on the winning goal. What did you think of the most of the night, and those two plays in particular, if you don't mind breaking them down?
Yeah, I would agree with you. I thought defensively, kind of from our red line back, we were pretty good. I didn't like our puck management, which kind of fed their rush a little bit too much for my liking. Those particular plays, we got kind of a broken breakout where our forward on the winning goal, so we end up with both defensemen and a forward below the goal line. And Jamie Benn got tangled up the ice in kind of a collision. I think it was Wyatt Johnson and one of their other defensemen kind of all got tangled up 200 feet away. So he was late getting back, and Bouchard, to his credit, kind of recognized that and got down the wall and made a good play. I mean, those things, those kind of breakdowns happen, and just wrong guys on the ice when it happened. The other one he was alone on was a little bit of a blown coverage. We kind of overplayed one of their drivers and left him at the net. But we played 5 periods almost. There's gonna be little mistakes, and they're gonna get their looks. I thought Jake made some big saves. I thought at the end of the day, and rewatching it, I thought one team kind of came into the game with a Game 7 mindset. Them and I thought we looked like we had a kind of a 5-day off mindset, and it's just thin margins, so we've got to get that fixed.
Front row on the right, Leah.
Hey, Pete. When you watched back the power plays, Edmonton's penalty kill, what jumped out to you?
Well, I think it's the same thing I just talked about. I think that bled into our power play too. I think one team with a Game 7 mindset from a desperation level and execution level, and one not. So we've got to get that fixed, and I think that's both 5-on-5 and power play.
I know that it's only been one game, but when you look at this series, do you see that as we'll just adjust on the power play, or is it going to be we really have to capitalize on our 5-on-5 chances, knowing how good they are on special teams?
I think we can adjust. I expect us to adjust. I think our execution, when our mindset in the rest of our game gets in the right place, that'll I think fix our power play.
Third row on the left.
Pete, what is it about the way this team is built, structured, coached, that's allowed so many young players to step in and succeed so quickly?
Yeah, well, one, really good young players. I mean, it doesn't matter how good the coach is if you're not hiding players this time of year. At the same time, the fact in double overtime that you've got Johnson and Stankoven on the ice against McDavid is, that's a testament to the trust we have in those kids and how good they are, and the future of the program, because that's a big ask, and those guys have done that every round of the playoffs, against McKinnon last round, against Eichel in the first round. So same with Hartley. So it's a great feeling as a coach. I think every coach wants to play young guys. I think we all understand the importance of that. But young guys have to allow you to play them too, especially this time of year. And I think the young players that we're playing in those situations have allowed us to do that.
Front left, Tracy.
Hey, Tracy.
Hello. Pete, you talked yesterday morning about Thomas Harley and the jump that he made going down to the AHL and really crafting his defensive game. It could be heady stuff for a guy to come up here and then you go, okay, you're with Miro Heiskanen. How does that dynamic work? What is it about those two, their games, their chemistry, whatever it is, that it's worked?
Yeah. Well, I think both similar skill sets, right? Both big, rangy guys that skate really well, think the game, good offensive instincts. but I think what allows it to work is Thomas Harley's really mindset. When you talk to Thomas, he's never overwhelmed. He's never too high or too low. He's really kind of got that unflappable kind of personality. And, I think a lot of guys put in that situation, and it happens with a lot of young players. They're kind of overwhelmed, by the moment and the situation and who I'm out against. And, it's a confidence thing. And he's got an unflappable kind of self-confidence to his game that, really has allowed him to step in there. And, I haven't seen any, situations where, he hasn't looked comfortable or hasn't had the self-awareness to recognize, what was going on around him. Even if he's made the wrong read, he knows before you talk to him about it. So pretty unique for a young guy like that.
Take 3 more. Second row right, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Just any Roope Hintz update today as far as skating and possibility for tomorrow?
Yeah, skating and possible for tomorrow.
That's a good one. And then late in the game and in overtime, you broke up the Ben, Sagan, Dadonov line, which is possibly the best line going.
Yeah.
Which is that great to have that option? And it seemed to work, but it's like, how do you make those decisions in a tie game to take apart the line that's working best, and then it seems to work?
Yeah. Well, I think that decision, and you're right, that line had probably been our best line to date, but we were looking. It was more to fix some other lines and get some other guys going. And sometimes you have to do, make those decisions in order for the good of the group. And I felt going into the third overtime and double overtime, we needed more of the group to get going. So not an easy decision to make because those guys were humming pretty good, but we had to get some other guys on board that I didn't think were quite there.
Back right, Kyle.
Kyle.
Hey, Pete. I just going back to what you said about the young players allowing you to play them in certain situations. Like, what's it been like as a coach watching kind of how rapid the growth has been the last couple of months, Stankoven in particular, considering he hasn't been here all year?
Yeah, it's really rewarding. I mean, we wouldn't be here without the energy that those young guys have infused into our group every day. They've got great energy, great legs. That young enthusiasm, I think, has been really good for our group. Tank's been exceptional. He probably could have come up, obviously earlier in the year. He probably could have made the team out of training camp. But, I think Jim, as he always does, made the decision to put him down with the big picture in mind. But I think Jim also knew that and felt that he was going to help us at this time of the year, if he kept progressing on the track he was on. And he did that plus some. I mean, he led the American League in scoring and, was ready when he got here. And I think, because of that, because he took the proper steps, I think the transition's always easier.
Last one, second row on the left.
Hi, Pete. In this series, we have 2 teams, of which one is just super talented, it's got the superstars, and one team that is super deep, which is yours. As a
We're
coach,
not the other one? No.
well, you may disagree there, but I think that's the overall sentiment from folks. As a coach, what do you think? Like, what is easier to coach? A super talented team that's got a McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman, or a super deep team that can go 4 lines? And how do you make sure that the deep team wins?
It's a great question. I don't know if there's a right answer to that. I think, I also don't think it's as clear cut as that. I think Edmonton has really underrated depth. Like, I'll give you an example. I know the big guys scored for them last night, but I thought, some of their depth was the biggest difference in the game last night. They got some great contributions from their depth, both at 5-on-5 and penalty killing. And I think on the flip side for us, I think our skill is a little underrated. I know the numbers don't bear out, but we have. I think we have guys that have the capability of putting up more numbers if they played in a situation where they played more, or they played the entire power play, and didn't kind of spread it around like we do. So,
Thanks a lot, Pete.
okay, thank you.